You know, it would be quite the accomplishment if the biggest story in Smash this week, this month, this year was the fact that Mewtwo King is only making $2 an hour via his Twitch ads, which Dexerto picked up. Obviously a little out of context, but nonetheless, still a bit entertaining when you know the whole scope of this and how this quote came to be and what have you. But it's not. The focus of today's video, as you all saw by the thumbnail, is of course Samsora and the announcement that officially, it would appear, off the global ban list. Now, if you're a bit of an eagle-eyed viewer and observer of the Smash community, then you might already know that Samsora has been attending events sporadically, a little bit more frequently as of, I would say within the last year or so. But I remember it was a couple years ago, Samsora first popped up at a Florida event. I think it was Cirque, and people were surprised about that. But if you know how they get down at Cirque, you know what I'm saying? You really shouldn't. But nonetheless, I've seen Samsora maybe 2 years ago, I feel like, competing at a New York local frequently. Maybe it was Philly, but something like that within that region area. And then as of recently has been consistently going to, I think, the Shark Tank series here in California. So I knew Samsora had been given perms, by some of these TOs to come out and compete because I would assume that they just felt like, it's been, I don't know how long, 4 or 5 years since Samsora has been banned. And if you're wondering, okay, well, why was Samsora banned? A very fair question in which we will kind of jump into, because of course the first reply off of this is Technical's, the chief sleuth of the internet. And this screenshot is pretty telling. Basically, you can read it for yourself. It just explains how Samsora was aware of an inappropriate relationship between Captain Zack and Nioret at the time. And no matter which side you are regarding that issue, that still stems to why Samsora was removed. So the comments to this are definitely interesting. I actually did a bit of scrolling before I decided to make the video, and I did see, it felt like it was a somewhat of an even split at first, and I kind of scrolled again. It felt like it was more negativity towards the decision. You know what I mean? You see right here, just kind of I'm not even gonna play this audio because it's that stupid Ice Spice song, big guy, big guy, big guy. How about you shut the fuck up? But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. But yes, regardless, yes, there are some people obviously congratulating it. Some notable top players, of course. Lima right there, love you, buddy. Just showing some love right here. Kid Goggle, well, I said notable, let's keep scrolling. Just saying, how they're happy to see Samsora. Oh Lord, have mercy. That's, yeah. Kept scrolling on that one, but nonetheless, yes, there are people who are celebrating this, as you can see, and then there are people who are vehemently against this decision, which you can obviously and you can kind of understand why some people would be against it. I see. Listen, Big Phil, you know what we do here on this channel. We keep it objectively true. This is OD, by the way. So with that objective truth, let's be honest. First things first, Samsora is not a PDF. That's inaccurate. Samsora is an individual who knew about an inappropriate relationship, and because Samsora is a bit of an idiot, as if you've been around for Smash, you recall a lot of those interviews and streams and just general talkings to Samsora you might have seen over the years. This is not a surprise. I look at this through a lens of, hey, you know what? My friend is doing something that's inappropriate. I'm kind of just minding my business, right? And a lot of people can understand that. However, okay, there's a difference between maybe you hear something as a rumor, you're like, I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with me. You keep it pushing, right? And then you have firsthand knowledge of it. So yeah, Samsora, you know what I'm saying? You messed up, buddy. The whole situation was messed up. But nonetheless, that has kind of passed, and now Samsora is here 2026 announcing the Unbanned. Now here's a follow-up to clarify events I enter will still be counted towards rank. Okay, so if Samsora enters like a Genesis or something like that, still would count towards rank. I'm technically still on the list because some regions have me banned. From New York scene to SoCal scene have been a huge help in this process. Remember I mentioned that earlier, competing at some of those New York locals and most recently SoCal locals. they made offline Smash felt like I just teleported from a time machine. Okay, well, let me tell you something, bro. You might have gone backwards, not forward. The way they got them ropes out and ready to lynch your ass, bro. Let me tell you, I'm just keeping it real. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. So everybody, obviously, with an opinion on this. Now, I'll tell you what mine is. Legitimately, at the end of the day, if you do something that is inappropriate, that is wrong, that is messed up, if your disciplinary action is just removal from a gaming community, you got off pretty easy, if you ask me. Okay, and that's that. I mean, and look, don't get it twisted. Like there is a group of individuals I would not even remotely group Samsora with, and I certainly do not. And I don't believe anyone is beyond redemption. In the case of this, it's more so like societal redemption, right? Like where do you see the line as? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you talking about redemption like within the gaming space or just like IRL? Well, in the case of Samsora, it would appear to be both, as you can see right here. I mean, this is as recent as January 8th. You know, Samsora getting third place here at the Shark Tank. That's the SoCal tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like right there, just chilling with, I guess, no issues or whatever. So, and yeah, I mean, this is like a weekly series. So, you know, when Samsora does go to these, you know, and has gone to these other events, it seems like it's been without incident. So I think that's kind of the crux of why this took place. Now, some people might say, oh, it's just because you press buttons really good. You know what I'm saying? The old Smashy Bros thing. I disagree with. I do believe that a lot of the times when we see actions taking place, a lot of the pushback is like, oh, this isn't harsh enough. They haven't proven X, Y, and Z. I think in the case of Samsora, you know, regardless of how you feel about the Unbanned, he did seemingly do the correct things, right? Took time away, came back slowly, you know, obviously has talked to the proper channels. You know, I'm not involved in this global Smash panel whatsoever. I don't know what their decision making is. I don't know the process, anything like that. I just know a lot of people do remember the fact that Samsora was throwing hands, and you know, at the time of his dismissal from the community, I think it was like pretty undisputed top 10. I mean, let's keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how this goes. Honestly, I'm kind of keeping a side eye on it as far as to like, you know, more of the reactions to it, like how people are feeling. And I'm a big community guy, right? So if, you know, obviously I'm making this video to see how my community feels about this, as I am curious. I talked about it on my stream for about 30 minutes or so, but that was, you know, that's stream time. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, do a little bit more of a serious video here and get you guys' takes on how you feel. Again, you know what I'm saying, I understand why and how this unban came about. Again, I don't think a dismissal from a Smash community is the end of the world for anybody, but you know, like I said, proper channels were followed according to whatever bylaws they have laid out, so that is where we stand now. But I mean, at the end of the day, this game is dope, but like nigga, you don't need it, nobody needs it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, you guys tell me what you think about this. Let me know in the comments down below. Try and keep it respectful. We don't want the YouTube ops to be shadow banning us or anything like that. But yeah, curious what you guys have to say, and I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.